This WAFL Colts broadcast is brought to you by Electrical Group Training. Considering a career as an electrician, visit egt.net.au to start your journey. Amy, when the bounce serves you a clanger, lucky you're with Amy. And Front Row Screens, your local streaming superheroes.
Yes, a very warm welcome to HIF Health Insurance Oval for the final game of round one, the EGT WAFL Colts. It is West Perth hosting Claremont under lights. What's going to be a fascinating matchup. My name is Ethan Roth. Great to have your company here on the WA Football official YouTube channel for the fourth and final game of WAFL Colts round one. West Perth, 13 debutants tonight under Steve Chapman. Claremont have 10 themselves, so even a team going for a four-peat has that much change heading into a new season. So 23 fresh faces altogether in terms of their first game of WAFL Colts football. 7 premiership players out there for Claremont, so they're still very experienced. And West Perth have 5 players out there from their last matchup against Claremont, which happened to be in week 2 of the finals last season, which was their last game before Claremont went on to, of course, win their 3rd consecutive flag. Just looking at pre-season results for these two teams, Claremont had 3 games in the pre-season, won all 3 of them against Peel, Subiaco and East Perth. And on the other side of the ledger, West Perth went 0 for 2 in the pre-season. The last of those coming in Subiaco, and also a close 7-point loss to East Perth. But pre-season doesn't mean much when it comes to round one when you're playing for premiership points as the players make their way to the middle. West Perth have been super successful in terms of making finals in the Colts. They've made the finals every single year since 2018. Having said that, they do have the longest premiership drought of the WAFL Colts, going back to 1990, which is when they won their last premiership. Of course, Claremont, 3-peat in the last 3 seasons, winning premierships. They're aiming to be the first team since the 90s to win a 4-peat in the Colts, and that happened to be Claremont. They also did the same thing in the 70s as well, so very rare for a team to win 4 consecutive premierships. But Claremont, you'd have to think with some of the talent they've got in their lineup, a good a chance as any team to do that. A couple of AFL Academy members in their side. Heath Melody not out there tonight, but Benji Van Rooyen is, and he'll do the ruck duties for the most part. His brother Sam finishing up just before this, kicking 3 goals in a 74-point demolition over West Perth in the league. But we turn our attention now to the Colts under lights here at HIF Health Insurance Oval. The final round, final game of round one, and it's West Perth taking on Claremont. Claremont trying to secure a 4th straight premiership starting in round 1. They get the first clearance, quick kick comes out, and strong mark there taken by Robbie Farmer. Farmer goes short to Noah Braun, one of those 7 premiership players out there. He was a bottom age last year, and he comes into his top age season well credentialed, goes to the top of the goal square. Nice mark taken though by the defence. It's called to play on, interesting decision. Just the required 15. Good to see a lot of the fans sticking around after the league game for the Colts, which is no doubt part of the reason why they put it after the senior game. Buick called to play on and goes into the direction of Creek. West Perth go down the line. Nice mark taken, intercepted. Looks like Dennis down there, one of the state summer squad members for WA, and also Claremont, brother of Clancy, who came through the Claremont system and still finds himself there. It was an emergency for the league game today. Nice front and centre over the back. That kick coming there by Sheldrick on debut. Newry's in there. Can he get the first of season 2026? Potentially was held on to. Umpire let it play out. They look to go to the far side, drawing the opponent. Getting the handball there is Williamson. Very talented player, Rafe Williamson for West Perth. He's in the state summer squad as well. Quick kick over the back, but West Perth, it only goes as far as just shy of half forward. Another mark taken. Mark Cossum in his first season as Claremont coach as well in the Colts. Pretty rare that you see a premiership coach move on. Ricky Smith doing that, allowing Mark Cossum to step into the role 2026 and beyond. Another mark taken this time by West Perth. Look to go across the face of goal. Got the Indigenous Guernseys on point today. Here's Lacroix working up the field. Kobe Lacroix. A lot made of him over the off-season coming into a big 2026. Understand he could be on the brink of league footy, but for now he finds himself in the Colts. The long ball comes down the other side. Another mark taken for the Tigers. Ball goes back in, but a bit of back and forth footy to start this one. They look to change it up once more, West Perth. Off the instep, that's not the best ball. It's going to come back in through the new ruling. Missing the target there of Hill. And Braun probably a bit beyond his measure here, but he'll look to set it up as he did previously. Looks to go short and honouring the lead of his forward in action. A good mark taken out in front by Regan Christensen, who's on debut tonight. 3 futures games up until this point for 4 goals, so averaging a bit over a goal a game in the futures, but stepping up to the Colts, this would do his confidence a world of good. Regan Christensen for his first goal in Colts footy from his first kick. He comes in, always looked across the face of goal, but hopefully that won't be his last opportunity for this evening. To bring it back in. West Perth whistle off the ball. It's going to be a holding free kick. They marked it anyway, but coming back the way of Benji Van Rooyen, it's going to be a headache all night for West Perth. Was second in the hit-outs last year in a premiership team. Of course, very recognisable surname. Good mark taken there in front by Collins, who's also on debut. In the back half for the Falcons. Lacroix wanting it short. Pointing to the pocket, eventually comes the way of Kobe Lacroix. He's going to sit underneath this one, but the big fist coming across was superb by Tom Brown. It's going to be a really fascinating matchup. He's listed to play on Harvey Sporting Guy on the matchups tonight, so that could be a watch this space. Further up the field to the left-hand side of the screen to start this first quarter. Handball comes out. Collins, Kai Collins, grabbing it cleanly. The Falcons, they've got a bit of run and carry over the top through Boxar, the skipper, one of a couple of co-captains. Both of these teams have co-captains, 2 apiece in terms of the leadership. Handball comes over the top, just misfiring Williamson there. Claremont will look to try and capitalise the other way. Mark taken just inside the field of play. Going short, there's a player unmarked, and all the focus was further up the field, which meant they could go as short as possible. Still no score. More than 5 minutes played in this first quarter, but it's been Claremont who have looked more dangerous. But West Perth have done really well to hold up for now, but shot coming in from right on 50. Called to play on. It's a low ball. Didn't really favour either team. Dropping the mark in front was Anning. And we'll have a boundary throw in. Great to have your company on YouTube in season 2026 for all EGT WAFL Colts games and all ACCO WAFL W games. Last of the Colts games for round 1. Some interesting results so far in round 1 of the Colts. Maybe an upset or 2 in there as well. Hit out comes through. Quick kick around the corner there from Sport and Guy, who's down back for now. Sport and Guy doing the ruck duties. Quick kick comes out by the Falcons. Floating in from the side, Claremont. Dancing one way then the other. And on the non-preferred, they hit up another target. Just the required 15. I don't think Van Rooyen quite realised, though. He'll get the 1-2 back. In there with him was Gale. Pressure applied from West Perth. Second to the footy for the time being, but they seem like they're up to it. They get a possession in their favour going forward. Not sure how Harvey Sporting Guy dispossessed of that. Umpire gave him the benefit of the doubt, and eventually spills over for a boundary throw-in. So ball just spending majority of time in this first 7 or 8 minutes over that far side. West Perth, only 5 players out there who were in that second week of the finals defeat to Claremont. A lot of change since that time, of course. A couple of players drafted in the form of Jacob Farrow and Sam Swaddling. Cody Curtin as well in that time from a Claremont perspective. And Charlie Banfield, of course. Out of bounds on the full. It's the nature of Colts footy. A new year, new identities formed. Quick kick down the line. Claremont eager to get it moving. Nice mark taken inside the field of play by Newry, who's one of their more impressive players in those pre-season results, hitting the scoreboard. Farmer's pretty eager to keep this in. Going along the ground basketball style. Falcons had other ideas in mind. West Perth and Claremont was here last night for the WAFL W, where Claremont came away with a 2-point victory. So, of course, different competition, but if that's anything to go by on this ground under lights, so we're in for an absolute beauty tonight. Low-scoring affair to kick things off. It's been a grind so far, trying to break their way through the Tigers. Receiving it was Creek. To the outside of the boot, bit of a foot race on, coming in from the side at full pelt was Brown. Just did not die wondering in that contest. Gale didn't have the ball whatsoever, and he'll be rewarded for a free kick. Coming back, Jones just holding on to him for a bit too long there. Gale wanted his key forward around the body. Quick snap. Looks pretty dangerous in the end. Coming in from the side. Got to be careful here that with the Falcons. They don't want to muck around. Handball comes back out from Barraclough. Hackball. Feel like they're just holding on at the moment, West Perth. The ball to the top of the square. Williamson again, front and centre from a defensive end. Sporting Guy, hand pass over the top. Collins, bouncing ball. Who's at favour? Van Rooyen went to go tap it onto one of his teammates. Someone just wants to break the deadlock at the moment. That's what they'd be crying out for, the Claremont coaching staff. Hand pass over the top. And a bit of run and carry now for West Perth. If they can gather cleanly, they can. But just a fumble or two there from Braddock on debut. Early nerves. Kick over the top by Banfield, who's adopted his brother Charlie's number 6 from last year. Upper Banfield, so makes it a little bit easier from a commentary perspective. Flying over the top, a couple of Claremont forwards. Hand pass coming through. Just Spilling was alone. Handball from Barraclough. And it might stay in or maybe not. West Perth saying, settle things down. Ty Barraclough, one of those 5 players who is out there from that last matchup against Claremont. Coming in from the side, Van Rooyen couldn't quite stick the grab. Coming the corridor side now. Not 15, said the umpire, so they have to move it on quickly. No choice but to do so. Along the ground, who can gather cleanly? Farmer's there, breaking through. Robbie Farmer. And it is the first score. Not in the way he'd like, but nonetheless, Claremont are on the board to lead this by 1 solitary point. Almost getting towards the halfway stages of this EGT WAFL Colts first quarter. Oakser. Long ball down the ground. Brown flew. So did Sporting Guy. Again, see how that matchup plays out through the night. By saying, get up, boys. There's a bit of push and shove. You wouldn't expect anything less from round 1, but as I said in the opener on Thursday night, you wouldn't want to give away any free kicks that are unnecessary as well Comes down Banfield, quick kick around the body. West Perth have the numbers, and the second attempt take the grab. Sewell, nice mark from him on debut, going short, not the required 15. Claremont will look to punish here. Given a bit of time was Brooks. Notable goal kicker in the PSA competition, Harry Brooks. And play's just going to be held up for a moment. There's a player on the ground. Trainer's coming to assist. Looks like a West Perth Falcon who's down. And it's that man in Hill. Hopefully the young man is okay. %51 possession so far in favour of Claremont. It's been pretty even. We've got a lot of inside 50s though. 14 to be exact to West Perth 0 so far. So West Perth doing very well considering that. Hill still down, so not sure if the stretcher is going to be called here, but clock continues to run. Looking at the other results across the first round just quickly in the Colts, it opened up on Thursday night where East Fremantle won by 49 points at Lane Group Stadium, but blown out late. Peel Thunder were in it more than that margin would suggest. As Hill comes off to the applause of the faithful, and the players will no doubt have a little bit of a reset through Steve Chapman. East Perth, that upset that I was alluding to, 18 points. You could say it's an upset, probably 50-50 going into a new season between them and Subiaco. They did beat them in the first round last year. An 18-point win yesterday on Good Friday, and South Fremantle, who were challenged by Swan Districts for different parts, but coming away with a 29-point win, last year's grand finalists. So those are the three results, but play getting back underway here from HIF Health Insurance Oval on the half forward for Claremont. Kick across goal. Going back with the flight was Brooks. Ball's going to beat him to the boundary though. "15 minutes gone, still no goal for either team. Sporting Guy first to it. Had to bend down to get that one. Quick kick around the body from the Tigers. It's touched off the boot. Called to play on. Can they kick the first? Slingshot. Try to kick off the ground, and it's going to be rewarded with a free kick right at the tip of the goal square. And Josh Floretto will be that man who you'd expect to go back and nail the Tigers first of their 2026 campaign. So Josh Floretto, first touch of the night for him, comes in, and that is their first. They were threatening for a while, Claremont. They go out to a 7-point lead and get their first of their season, the first of the game, through Josh Floretto. Took the best part of 14 minutes, but Claremont have their first on the board from their 15th inside 50. They lead it by just over one straight kick. Back in the middle for the first time since the initial ball up of the game. Coming towards it, Wayne on debut. Receiving it, Bradbury, also a debutant. So 13 of them out there trying to get some synergy. It's going to take more than a week, to say the least, for any side. Claremont, of course, having 10 of their own. Brown Kicks out wide. Asks a fair bit of his teammate in Collins. Collins will get it back. Had a couple of people short. Went longer down the line. That's a very strong mark taken just in front of us here by Edwards. 5 futures games up until this point. Long down the line. How about the fly from Newry? That of Robert Farmer, I should say. That would have been a season highlight in round 1. He got a fair piece of it as well. Got up there. Comes towards the middle of the ground. They want to go back in the direction of Brown. Gale's going to mob up. Might have to go on the non-preferred. Went on the right in the end, which affected his kick as the bump came. Going to try and keep it in. Braun puts his head over it and draws the free in the end. Some familiar names, of course. Noah Braun, son of Michael Braun, West Coast Premiership player. Also George Gale, who's the son of Mark Gale, playing 84 games for across St Kilda and Fremantle. Not to mention the likes of Banfield, Van Rooyen, who have those strong family ties. Here come West Perth. Haven't threatened as of yet. Right idea in mind, over the top. But that's going to be a costly turnover. Going corridor as well. They just hold it up, waiting for players to push back. Banfield eventually plays on and comes in from the side. Not sure if the target was him in the end, but just timing his run perfectly. It looks to be Brooks. And there's a reversal, it looks like. Not sure if that happened off the ball or if that was just a late call, but just when Harry Brooks was looking like he was going to have his first shot in the WAFL Colts, it's been reversed, so he'll have to wait a bit more time as Bradbury takes the mark just in front of us. It's pointing long. Wants to take the game on, does so confidently around the opponent, and then gets a bit more meterage with the kick as a result. Van Rooyen's pleading his case for the mark. Having to snap the ball around the boot was Irving. Had no choice but to do so. Comes off the boot of Bradbury accidentally. And with the new rule in mind, inbounding the kick will be Sheldrick, who has a great kick down the middle. Lockie Sheldrick. Interesting to see where the parents would be tonight. Obviously Angus in town playing for Sydney Swans and Lockie on Colts debut. So not sure what the go would be there if it's a split. But of course Oliver Sheldrick as well, playing the league game just before that. So maybe that falls into the favour of the Colts debutant as they get a free kick for a push in the back. They can't believe it, West Perth. Slight nudge sometimes doesn't take a lot. But it's going to be Edwards for the Tigers, who's no stranger to kicking goals. 11 goals from 5 future games. Few of their debutants have threatened so far, but this can be change that, not on this occasion. West Perth looking to go that far side once again, over the top of players, but they run through. Hand pass comes to Glidden around the corner. Kick in hope more than anything. Barging through was Dennis. Comes to Newry. Hand pass to the top. Braun just has to stop and prop for a moment. He'll try and wheel back onto his left boot. He did so successfully, breaking the tackle. Then goes to Newry, who has a player furthermore over the top. Going back with the flight with courage was that player who kicked the only goal so far. Then tries to centre it. West Perth coming through. They've got the numbers if they can go on the rebound. They're going to try and take the game on. Running his full measure. There's a Claremont player in the way, but they did well to get the hand pass out in the nick of time. Through the hands of the intended forward in Calcott. And this time Newry, who doesn't muck around. Low spearing ball, but only as far as Collins. They've got a bit of space here at West Perth. I've said it a few times, but they might just try and steady on this occasion. Going back inside. They're going to take the game on. instruction from Steve Chapman perhaps in the early stages of this one, and diving to take the mark is Sporting Guy just in front of his direct opponent in Brown, and they do get a bit of reward, albeit before Sporting Guy's had a chance to go back and have a shot here. But Harvey Sporting Guy in the State 18 Summer Squad was third in the competition last year for goals. He comes in. "26 goals last year from 17 games, and that's his first of 2026 to back it up. West Perth, it's fair to say they've been somewhat dominated in possession in this game as the tensions boil over, but they do well to convert their chance, and they get back into one solitary point of the Claremont Football Club. Expect him to get quite a bit of attention as the season goes on. Harvey Sporting Guy, we're a long, long way out from the draft, but just in the early stages, he seems like a player who will be up there in those calculations. Can be swung back if need be, pinch hitting in the ruck, but up forward is where he's best suited, you'd have to say, highlighted with that goal there. Just over a minute to play in this first quarter. Claremont would hate to spill a lead, even if it is the 1 point they're holding on to at the moment. They go back through Banfield. Quick kick comes out to this wing. Pushed underneath it. A bit too much of a nudge in the end. I said it doesn't take much, and that could be a 50-metre penalty. Just a bit clumsy there from Farmer, putting it on the ground, and that would not please Mark Cossum. And West Perth, all of a sudden, could go inside 50 and try gain the lead. Didn't seem like a massive 50-minute penalty in terms of how much that ball was brought up, but still comes inside 50 for West Perth, just dropping it slightly. That could be a high free kick. No, said the umpire, but the non-officiating one in sight did. And this could be a confidence booster on the brink of the quarter-time siren. They'll know the time as well, so soak in and make sure you have the last kick of the quarter. West Perth, who have come out of nowhere to threaten and steal the lead. It's a kick that doesn't register a score, and that'll be the last kick of the quarter. So it is Claremont who go into the first break with a 1 point lead. Low scoring affair here at HIF Health Insurance Oval. Goals to Harvey Sporting Guy, and before that, to kick things off, Josh Floretto. So it's 1 point that separates the reigning premier with West Perth, who have been a very successful team in the WAFL Colts competition, not missing finals since 2018. We'll be back on the other side of this on YouTube for the second quarter. It's the last game of the first week of the Colts in 2026. Claremont going into the first break, 1 point leaders.
Hey mates, ready to power up your career with EGT? As a proud sponsor of the WAFL, we're all about teamwork and training winners. With EGT, our apprenticeships in electrical trades are hands-on, so you can start working and earning faster, so you can forget the debt and dive straight into earning. Join us today and get the best of both worlds. Great training with the thrill of the game. Don't just dream about success, wire it up with EGT. Visit egt.net.au and kickstart your career.
They could have made it round.
Let's have a ball.
Instead, they made a swinging pendulum of luck.
Let's have a day.
When the bounce serves you a clanger,
Lucky you're with Amy.
Running through the last of my thoughts, standing on the edge of my time. Everything I know will be gone in a minute, and that's alright. Running through the last of my thoughts, standing on the edge of my time. Everything I know will be gone in a minute, and that's alright. Alright, 'cause I'm free. I'm freer than I've ever been before. Yeah, baby, I'm free. I'm freer than I've ever been before. Alright, 'cause I'm free. I'm freer than I've ever been before. Yeah, baby, I'm free. I'm freer than I've ever been before. Running through the last of my thoughts, standing on the edge of my time. Everything I know will be gone in a minute, and that's alright. Running through the last of my thoughts, standing on the edge of my time. Everything I know will be gone in a minute, and that's alright. Alright, 'cause I'm free. I'm freer than I've ever been before. Yeah, baby, I'm free. I'm freer than I've ever been before. Alright, 'cause I'm free. I'm freer than I've ever been before. Yeah, baby, I'm free. I'm freer than I've ever been before.
Welcome back to HIF Health Insurance Oval. Strong crowd here, just making their way off the ground. It is quarter time of the EGT WAFL Colts. Claremont 1-1-7, leading West Perth 1 straight kick 6. Single goals for either side to Harvey Sporting Guy and Josh Floretto. A low scoring affair in that first quarter, but tight nonetheless, which is what we like to see here under lights in Joondalup. Max Collins leading both teams with 9 disposals for West Perth. Down back. Great to have your company here on YouTube. Just a couple of people making their way behind the goals on the right hand side of the screen, but we're all set for the second term. EGT WAFL Colts, Claremont leading by 1 point in their season opener against West Perth, breaking through one way then the other. Impressive stuff for Harper Banfield. Just misfired with the kick, but that still allowed Irving to run onto it. Irving will get the 1-2 back his way, then come through on the left boot. up to the brink of half forward. Hand pass from West Perth. Ball spent a lot of time in their back half in that first quarter. They're looking to turn things around, but just sort of going not 100% of that was Edwards for the Tigers. The ball comes to the wing, picking it up eventually. Having to be quick though, Ballard, they break through. They can come through to Sheldrick, but he's caught. The debutant not giving up on it. That's the stuff that Steve Chapman and the coaching staff would love to see. Come across to Sport and Guy. They want to try and draw the opponent. Quick kick, not the required 15. That allows them to play on. Low ball along the ground was cleanly picked up. Like to go over the top by handball. Then back inside. Nice passage of play linking up here with the Falcons. How does this ball sit to the top of the square? Coming over it, making a really good contest of it was Cowcott, but Claremont did enough to punch it through, and we're all square here in the early stages of the second. Dennis going short. Braun working up the ground. Misfiring with a kick, and that'll be brought back in with the last touch rule. Go back to go forward. Quick kick into the pocket. Trying to keep it in. Claremont content to use the boundary line, and they're wanting deliberate out of bounds, but not. Well, there was plenty of pressure there, so umpire says throw it in. Van Rooyen with the hit out into the path of Huxtable. West Perth, Guernsey's hard to see on that far side, but they bring it out. Quick kick to the wing, through the hands, but holding his ground when the couple of players from behind lost their footing was Brooks. Anning's in there. Might try and go off the deck. They do exactly that. Banfield, Brooks off a standing step, just slaps it forward on the boot in hope. Dropping the mark. Probably should have taken that, Jones, but they mob up, misfiring with the handball. It is round one, so wouldn't be the first game that there's been a few skill errors, and that'll be a high free kick coming over the top. Back the way of the Falcons, dusting off the cobwebs in round one. Obviously had to sit and wait to play the last game of round one, seeing the other Colts teams do battle, which can be a good thing, but at the same time, when you've seen other teams have their hit out, it makes you think that there's that standard you have to live up to. Quick kick comes in the form of Bradbury now. He just waits for the cavalry to arrive. There's a couple of players saying go short that don't necessarily want it long, but that's where he may be forced to go. Hugs the boundary line, then brings it back inboard. Who does he want? Down the ground, there's a couple of Tigers that fly. Where are the crummers for West Perth? Quick kick comes out. Jacob Key, first time we've called his name tonight. Clearing ball, but it's going to come back through Sport and Guy, who ideally would want to be on the end of this kick, but he's going to have to try and set it up for one of his fellow forwards. Goes down the ground. Braun potentially didn't have it. The quick kick, the dribble along the ground's a good one. And West Perth take the lead for the first time tonight. Front and centre. How about that? It was textbook in the end. The finish told the rest of the story. And it is Campbell Creek, who is playing his second Colts game of footy. Had 32 touches on debut back in round 17 last year against Perth. So his second game of Colts footy, but he's in the summer squad as well. Very talented player. And he's on the end of it to give the home side the lead for the first time this evening. Goes back to the middle after finishing his work. Now time for Tigers to try and inbound. Van Rooyen had a lot more time than he realised than that. He went to go off the outside of the boot, then changed at the last minute, ducking one way then the other. Here's Sheldrick on debut. This would be a finish and a half. But punched through by the Falcons. Go down the way of Lacroix, who sits underneath it. Had a couple of bites at the cherry. Newry playing for the free kick. It's not to be. And Falcons come out. Look to go back in board through the hands of a couple. Van Rooyen did well to read that off the hands that came before him. Nice kick in board. That'll please coaching stuff when Van Rooyen's kicking like that. Obviously, anytime your ruck's doing that, it is a bonus. They come short again. Lacroix, the player in mind. Quick kick over the back. It looked accurate from the boot of Irving, but there was a player playing that goalkeeper role. And the Falcons can draw their opponent down the line. This will fail to stay in though. It's going to come back through Braun. Sam Irving leading disposals for Claremont as it stands with 11. Spinning out one way then the other. This will be an impressive finish. How does it sit? Do they shepherd it through? It's a goal in the end, coming off the boot there of Charlie Anning on debut. Tremendous snap around the body. And now it's Claremont who, in a seesawing affair, grabbed the lead. Did well to shepherd that through on the last line of defence, did the Tigers. And there is a goal for a debutant tonight in the form of Charlie Anning. Or rather, it seems like he has actually played some Colts footy up until this point. There's a lot here on the list, so just mixing a couple of players up there. But nonetheless, Charlie Anning kicks a beauty from the pocket. West Perth with the hit out. Sporting guy breaking through the Tigers. Left foot ball. Getting up there was Williamson. Doing it on ground level as well. Back up towards half forward. Trying to slap it forward. Sporting guy who did well to impact that when he was on the ground. Bradbury. Looks like a live wire inside 50. He sets this up off a couple of sets of hand. Did he get rid of that in time? Umpire said no, he didn't give up on it, nor did his opponent in Brown, who could have been a goal-saving smother and tackle there. Deep inside the Tigers 50 though. They have a 1 point lead as they did at the first break. Couple goals kicked since that time from both teams. Did he drag it in? The Claremont player, umpire said no. Comes down the way of Braun. He's going to be on his non-preferred. Comes out and taken by Williamson. Rafe Williamson done some good things already tonight. Taking the game on, take a couple of marks. He tries to honour one of his forwards. It's just in the path there, trying to keep it in. Did that come off the leg? And umpire said it was the knee, but Dwyer, the right idea in mind there on debut. Claremont locked it in a lot of times at this end of the ground. This time it's West Perth's chance to try and do the same thing. Van Rooyen trying to spin out. Claremont potentially didn't have it. Ducking one way than the other. Sporting guy for standing step. Hooks it back around. Who does it favour? Down there is Creek coming for the bounce. Didn't sit Claremont whatsoever. And it is a goal to West Perth. Finishing off nicely is Glidden on debut. Sam Glidden, 2 futures games for 1 goal. And now he has a goal in the EGT WAFL Colts, and don't his teammates love it? Bounce couldn't have sat any worse for Claremont there, but you make your own luck if you're West Perth, and they go out to a 5-point lead, showing that they're up to it in this first half against the benchmark of the Colts competition in previous years, despite having 10 fresh faces out there. Tigers. Going into the ruck. Collins. Creek just giving away the free kick to Harper Banfield, who again just in that number 6 gives you flashbacks of what Charlie was doing towards the back end of last year. Of course, drafted to St Kilda after winning a Melbourne medal in the grand final. Quick kick out there by Christensen. Playing from behind was Braun. Hand pass comes out, comes back the way of Braun, who wasn't quite expecting it. They do get the inside 50. Low ball looks threatening for the Tigers. West Perth, they come back. Dangerous handball. Going to have to meet it, the Falcons. Christensen puts his head over it. Maybe unlucky to not get a high free kick. There was a high free kick that came the other way earlier in the game, similar to that. But umpire said you duck. Banana ball comes out along the ground. Can they finish this? Claremont. And it's going to be a free kick. It was out of bounds, but just copped a push as it was happening. So that ball will come back to a similar region of where it left the boot. And it's going to be Edwards, in fact. Tyson Edwards on debut. Can he snap around this to match the first goal at the other end from Glidden? Looks like he's going to go for the left foot snap around the body. There's a couple of teammates making leading patterns. He's going to ignore those and instead go himself around the body. It's a high ball. Bellied it almost. Will take a fair effort to mark this. It comes around. Do they get the snapping ball around the boot? They do! Is that another one to Anning, who was front and centre? It is. So Charlie Anning has 2 goals and 2 snaps to match it in the field of play. Blood rule coming from the ground. Looks like West Perth, Luca Boaksa might be casualty there. Very tight opening half here. 1 goal going each way at a time. 2 goals apiece for each team in this quarter alone. Collins again going into the ruck for Claremont. Picking it up. Maybe copping a high free kick in and under. Tough conditions. Sheldrick grabs it out cleanly. Looked at home on debut. Up and under ball off the left. A nice mark taken by Edwards, who can play on and can honour the lead, who takes it on the second attempt of Christensen. These new Tigers linking up and straight away pointing to the goals to suggest that he'll go back and try and kick another 6-pointer for the Tigers. And the number 26, Guernsey, comes in. Had a couple of looks at the big stick so far. And that one drifting to the right-hand side of goalpost. So they extended out marginally to 2 points, but still nothing in this one. 10 minutes to play in the second quarter. EGT WAFL Colts live on YouTube in season 2026 for all EGT WAFL Colts and all ACCO WAFL W games. Ball comes down. They try and change it up to go to the far side, but a nice mark taken by Claremont. Up and under ball. Asks a bit, and that's an ambitious attempt by Farmer. You don't blame him for trying to take those sort of marks, and it wasn't unrealistic in the end because the mark was taken. Past a bit of Williamson, who can't keep that in the boundary line. The pressure comes from Braun. Barraclough doing, or rather Wayne it is doing the ruck work, and then number 24. Did Claremont cop a high free kick on Bus said not quite enough. Floretto at the bottom of that pack. Darling giving away a free kick. He knew it straight away and he's not happy with himself. The big man. Low ball. That mark intercepted though by Huxtable. Wants to go short. There's pressure coming from behind, and that won't be 15 in the end, so hot on the tail the whole time. Doesn't he let him know about it as well? West Perth player. Darling back in the ruck. He wins the hit out this time, nudging his opponent underneath it, running onto it. Quick kick around the body there from Farmer. And on the second attempt, that mark taken by West Perth. Back and forth at the moment. That might be 50 as well. Unnecessary from Braun there, as Jones playing his third game of Colts footy. Gives West Perth a bit of breathing room outside their back defence. They look to change it up on their outer side. Running onto it with a bit of time is Sewell. Sewell goes over the top to Ivankovic. And then sent it inside 50. The Crummers were there. Quick kick comes out. West Perth, they don't want to muck around with it too much, but they're just trying to settle things down. Barraclough. And sliding in to take the mark. Creek, who goes to Williamson. They want to use the bypass, the handball receive, they do. This is an opportunity for West Perth. It's been a nice link-up play up to this point, but taking the mark in the back half is none other than Benji Van Rooyen. AFL Academy member along with Heath Melody, who's not out there tonight, but those two playing all 4 under-18s games with WA last year, despite being bottom ages. So, nice blueprint going into season 2026. Newry didn't get the purchase that he wanted. Couldn't have probably turned it over into a worse part of the ground there. West Perth looking to capitalise off that. They go inside 50. And that's a moment they'd like over again, the Tigers. Because taking the mark is Mitch Cowcott, who performed strongly in the pre-season on the scoreboard despite those losses they had. The last of those games coming against Subiaco on this very ground in a 72-point loss. But that's behind them now, and what's in front of Mitch Cowcott is the opportunity to put his side back in front with under 6 minutes remaining in the first half. He strikes it pretty well just to the right-hand side. So low scoring game, but close is what we like to see. Ball brought out. Quick kick comes from Banfield, sitting underneath it. His teammate. Now, Irving was short. He ignored that. And taking a nice mark. Intercepting is Barraclough. Experienced defender in this back half for West Perth. Creek, as a player short, has to stop though. And that might be 50 metres as well for a player infringing. It's going to be as well. They don't want to give it away as the push and shove continues off the ball. It's going to be Luca Boxart, it seems. who's just off the screen at the moment, but he'll charge in to get it back into West Perth's favour. Nice looking ball. Van Rooyen's on the line. Didn't have to rush it through because it was missing anyway. We're all squared up. 4 minutes 20 remaining. West Perth probably it's a bit more dangerous in this second quarter. Only just though. Turnover. Cowcott, he almost had it stolen off him in the end. Creek, bit of miscommunication there by the Falcons. Comes out, can they get the snap and make up for it off the boots? They get the lead, but not in the way they'd like. And Cowcott just had the ball taken out from his teammate there. Both trying to seize the opportunity. Chipping ball over the top. Tigers looking to take a bit more of a measured approach here. They go into the corridor, hitting up Blacksall, Will Blacksall. And he pumps it inside 50. Playing from behind Newry. Doesn't need a lot of time and space. He potentially got a high free kick. Didn't want to take the advantage and he'll go back. Damien Newry, who's an excitement machine. Speak about pre-season results. He was kicking multiple goals. More than once. And we'll go back and try and slot this for his first of the season. The number 13, Guernsey, Damien Newry. Doesn't need a lot of opportunity in front of the goal. He would like that moment again. Out of bounds on the full, which is unlike him. West Perth now, can they have maybe one or two more chances to go forward in this first half? Ball just dropped on the ground, but the pressure a little while off coming. Them to set themselves. Judging well off the pack was Braun. Has to go on the non-preferred, which for a left footer sometimes isn't the preferred option. That mark intercepted by Glidden, who kicked his first goal earlier in the term. Braddock back in board. They want to go to Buick. That was ignored. Goes to the right option. And standing underneath it, Gale. That kick was touched off the boot, so Gale will get the 1-2. He might try and get it back a third time here if his teammate's on the same page. He isn't. Instead, going for the kick option instead. Through the hands of a couple players. West Perth mob up. They might want to settle themselves here. Low ball along the ground. Outnumbered is going to be Braddock, but the pressure just stays off him, which allows him to kick it over the top and asks a fair bit of McGuan. McGuan inside 50. Dwyer's down there for West Perth, potentially holding free kick. Umpire let it play out and pass over the top. Claremont, maybe their opportunity to grab a late one. Through the corridor. There's a foot race on now. Dangerous time in this half. 1 point of West Perth lead. They're winning this quarter by 2 points technically for the time being. Claremont doing everything they can to make sure this ball doesn't go out. Wouldn't be the worst result if it does though. Clock continues to run. Players on hands and knees. Quick kick over the top. Ambitious there from Brooks. It actually looked online for a little bit, but just bounces through. So 3-4 apiece. West Perth going to try and milk seconds off the clock, you'd say. Long ball might come back in that direction. Low ball along the ground. Can they pick up cleanly? Annings kicked a couple. Great handball over the top, but the pressure from behind was even more brilliant. Did they get enough meterage? Braun almost takes one of the marks of the night. Not quite to be. And Claremont will go in with the narrowest of margins, as they did at quarter time. So 1 point lead at quarter time, 1 point lead at half time for Claremont. Nothing in it though here at HIF Health Insurance Oval. It's been a back and forth game so far. Round one footy, which is what you love to see. Low scoring affair, but Get the feeling this one is going to continue to go down to the wire as we've seen in this first half. So the players take a well-deserved break, and we'll do the same from the commentary position here at HIF Health Insurance Oval and have the final 2 quarters, a half a footy left to play in the final game of the EGT WAFL Colts Round 1 live from HIF Health Insurance Oval.
They could have made it round.
Let's have a ball.
Instead, they made a swinging pendulum of luck.
Let's have a day. We'll do the rock. We'll do the ball. Let's have a ball. Don't tell if you do.
When the bounce serves you a clanger,
Lucky you're with Amy.
Hey mates, ready to power up your career with EGT? As a proud sponsor of the WAFL, we're all about teamwork and training winners. With EGT, our apprenticeships in electrical trades are hands-on, so you can start working and earning faster, so you can forget the debt and dive straight into earning. Join us today and get the best of both worlds. Great training with the thrill of the game. Don't just dream about success, wire it up with EGT. Visit egt.net.au and kickstart your career. Hey mates, ready to power up your career with EGT? As a proud sponsor of the WAFL, we're all about teamwork and training winners. With EGT, our apprenticeships in electrical trades are hands-on, so you can start working and earning faster, so you can forget the debt and dive straight into earning. Join us today and get the best of both worlds. Great training with the thrill of the game. Don't just dream about success, wire it up with EGT. Visit egt.net.au and kickstart your career.
They could have made it round.
Let's have a ball.
Instead, they made a swinging pendulum of luck.
Let's have a day. We'll do the rock. We'll do the ball. Let's have a ball. Don't tell them if you do.
When the bounce serves you a clanger,
Lucky you're with Amy.
Welcome back to HIF Health Insurance Oval, the second half of the EGT WAFL Colts clash between West Perth and Claremont coming up. And West Perth trail by 1 point, 3-4-22 to Claremont's 3-5-23 in a low-scoring first half. But as it was at the quarter-time break, just 1 point separates them, going the way of Claremont. Goal kickers up to this point, Campbell Creek, Glidden, Harvey Sporting Guy with 1 apiece for the West Perth Footy Club, while Charlie Anning has 2 of the Tigers' 3, with the other goal coming through Josh Floretto. And we have a half to play of the first round of the Colts competition in round 1. It's all thanks to EGT, and great to have your company on WA Football's YouTube channel, where all WAFL W and Colts games will be housed in 2026. Second half, live from HIF Health Insurance Oval. It's been a low-scoring game, but let's hope that nothing in it for the remaining half to come. Handball came out there from Banfield, copying a high free kick right around the neck. The West Perth player in Jones. Jones out wide. Chopping it off. Looks like on that far side, a couple of the Tigers connect through the likes of Brown. Hand pass came from Christensen. They're hugging that far side, but they've got the lead up play. Up and under ball. Who can go back with the flight of the ball? Sitting underneath it. Newry, who had a shot at the other end not too long before half time, can go back, and he didn't score on that occasion. This time he's looking to go a couple of steps better. Damien Newry. Couple of attempts there. Just to extend the lead at the early stage of the third out to 7 points. Comes in. Methodical approach. Struck it well. Newry gets the first of the second half for the Tigers, and they lead by 7 points here at HIF Health Insurance Oval. Just his third game of Colts footy, second goal as well, so very fresh to the Colts scene alongside their 10 debutants tonight. It's one out by Creek, kicks it forward, gets plenty of purchase on it in the end. Comes the other way though. Braun lost his footing, his opponent didn't, sends it back towards the face of the goal. And Claremont can compose themselves to try and hit a target, playing from behind the big man. West Perth come out. They're going to have to go on the non-preferred, smother off the boot. That kick comes from Williamson. Brown's going to try and follow it, but it might not fall into his favour. We'll have a boundary throw just in the 15-metre arc for the Falcons. Darling in the ruck up against Harrison Wayne. 2 debutants in the ruck stocks for the Falcons and the Tigers. Even contest there. Again, it comes the way of the Tigers. Wayne got a handball out. He wasn't facing the right way. It was Dwyer. Claremont trying to evade. Did well to fool them all for a second there. Did Huxtable. Up and under ball. Going to take a fair effort to mark. Sporting Guy got up there. Claremont pleading potentially that they took the clean grab. Next goal, crucial. Claremont can get a bit of breathing space, but West Perth can get it back to a 1 point ball game as it's been at the 2 breaks. We'll have a throw in. West Perth, Buick, the co-captain, saying it should have been ours, but umpire potentially blindsided, or the right call eventually made. Comes the way of Buick. Kick to the bottom age. Game in the bottom age year last year. Double bottom age year to get through against Claremont when they beat Swan Districts in the elimination final. Now finds himself in the co-captaincy and still a bottom age year, which is an impressive feat. Going across the face of goal, Sheldrick, dangerous ball and copying a high free kick on the bounce. Glidden, he goes short. Creek stepping one way then the other. He's already kicked one tonight, and that is a banana to savour for Creek. He loves it off the boot as well in just his second Colts game. Hard to believe. Kicked a nice crumbing goal at the other end. That off a step, bananaing it to perfection. And Campbell Creek gets it back to that 1 point margin that I spoke about. He's kicked 2 goals tonight. 2 goals in his career in his second game. Goes back to the middle as he did after his first. And West Perth just reminding Claremont that they're up for the fight tonight. They might get another clearance as well. Quick kick off the boot. Floating across though. Irving. Goes in the direction of Van Rooyen. Holds his ground. Goes back in board. Edwards, the co-captain for Claremont. Low darting ball inside. Chopped off by the Falcons. They're looking to go one way then the other. Trying to break through successfully there. Can they spot up a target or go for home themselves? This would be an extraordinary goal. Just the wrong side. Not sure if it was even meant to go for a shot on goal there, if it was set up. But either way, it looked good off the boot. Promising signs for the Falcons after conceding the first in this third term. Claremont. Can they counter here? They've got the player over the top if they can use him well. They do. In 2 minds. Gale just stood in the middle and got the handball receive on. Up towards... And as I said a couple of times, Guernsey's very hard to see over that far side, but it will be a boundary throw-in. Ball didn't really favour any of the rucks. Creek dispossessed out of his hands, hence why it wasn't called a free kick. Handball over the top, can they grab it cleanly? They do. Mark taken. Moving it on now. They can take a run on the bounce if they want. Through Williamson. He's going to ask for the 1-2 back. Player had different ideas in mind. Then goes to a one-on-one down the field. Sporting guy down there. The Crummers nowhere to be seen except for Glidden, who came to support. Up and under ball. Dennis is going to have to hold his ground here. He does so. And touch off the boot. Both teams pretty content to see that out, both offensively and defensively. Van Rooyen off a standing step. His teammate missed his target. That won't be 15. Just moving it on here and cutting across is Dennis, who will be called back to his line after he moved on the wrong side of the post. It's going to be a boundary throw in fact, so just rushing it a bit there and went the wrong side of the post, meaning it'll be a boundary throw-in. Not too often you see that in footy, let alone at Colts level. Boundary throw in. Sporting Guy pushed off at Van Rooyen. Off to Brown. Brown clearing kick. He's asking a bit of Gale. Gale's going to be closed in by him by Bradbury, and eventually the ball goes out, so it'll be the latter's free kick. Going short. Creek. Possession 15 for him to match his couple, and be a boundary throw in once more. Undersized French against Van Rooyen. Does well to get the tap though, and hand passes it out. Creek, again, another touch for him. This is about as under pressure we've seen, probably Claremont tonight, as we're all squared up, coming one way then the other. Quick kick on the left boot, doesn't favour the forward in focus. Sporting Guy does well enough to make a contest of it though. Neck and neck as it's been all night. Claremont coming to this game favourites, you suggest, even if it is a brand new season with not much to go off other than pre-season results. They come again, the Tigers, at full stretch. And eventually the ball does come out. Banfield caught by Williamson. Van Rooyen over the top. Sheldrick's going to have to gather cleanly. He did so. Great smother there by Creek, doing it offensively and defensively. French is going to be caught by the biggest man on the ground in Van Rooyen. Anytime someone of 200 centimetres does that to you, it's got to hurt. Dropping the mark at a crucial time was Collins, but doing enough to give it off to Williamson. Lacroix, we've barely called his name tonight, but Creek's going to be set up for his third. He tried to replicate what he did. Maybe should have set himself straight for the drop punt instead of go for a check side off what was a tricky angle. Again though, it's not the worst result for the Falcons. Shallow boundary throw in. Van Rooyen tried to grab it out of there. Quick kick around the body. It says it's touched off the boot, so they'll have to recognise that did McGuan. Again, trapped in where the Falcons want it. No, none of the rucks get it. Sheldrick just bangs it out of there. Bit of miscommunication by the Falcons. None of them went for it in the end. The bounce might suit them though. It does. Precision kick. It went through the hands though of Glidden. Brown. Banfield. Low darting ball. Just sticking out arm out of it. Farmer dodging his way through. Did so effectively. And Sheldrick says settle things down. Good night for the Sheldrick so far. Angus part of it. Monster win at Optus Stadium for Sydney. And Oliver winning comprehensively on this ground in the league game before this. Creek gathers cleanly. He's on his non-preferred but had support in the form of McGuan. West Perth send it back and they get a bit of bang for buck. Couple of successive entries but saving the day for now. Right when he needed it was Dennis, who looks a very reliable defender if he hasn't been already to this point as a premiership player. That'll be out of bounds, so a bit of skill execution which we're not often too much used to. On the way of Kobe Lacroix, who as a left footer would back himself in. Doesn't have to be your night, but it can be your moment, the old saying that goes. Kobe Lacroix, Glidden off the deck. Was he spun to the 360? Can they get boot to ball? Maybe a high free kick in the end. Wasn't given, so a couple of calls there the umpire just put the whistle away for. West Perth pressing once more. There's a player on the ground. Dennis, who might just be cramping a bit. That's not good signs, but something we're not all too unfamiliar with in round one. Darling gets the hit out. Braun was there in the coal face. Players coming from both directions, spinning out. Couldn't have done any better. Was Blaxall. Then Braun. Out wide. Short ball. Wanted Banfield, but he was just caught holding still there. Trying to break through Bradbury. Doing anything he can to dispossess of it. He does. That ball stays in momentarily. Great mark though, taken, reeling it in. And the ball can go to Wayne, who might try and get it back from Barraclough. Go across goal. Mark taken by Alone. Held his ground tonight on debut, Dylan Alone. And the number 3, Guernsey. That's a nice chipping ball. West Perth, again, another inside 50. Claremont have got the numbers, and Brown this time taking it on the second attempt. Quick kick comes out from Key. Following it closely. Don't want to muck around with it too much, Claremont. The cavalry arrive for West Perth, likes of Creek in and under. Ball comes out. Creek cops a high free kick as well, so rewarded for being first to the ball after applying. It's the number 2 in Blake Jones, who moves the ball on. That's smothered off the boot. But it'll go up further field. Play on in the darkness. Might be Kobe LaCroix who got on the end of that, who misses. They do get the lead, and for all the 1-point leads that Claremont have had, it's West Perth's time now for that same margin. Moving short to Noah Braun. Up to 10 touches is Noah Braun. Up and under ball by Tigers. It might be a kick down the ground, so pressure just a bit too much there. And Edwards will be the beneficiary of that, sidestepping his opponent, then kicking to the path of his leading forward, who takes a strong mark. Christensen. It's been a while between drinks, so he's got an opportunity just due to a bit of supply that hasn't come his way. He'll look to backtrack just for a moment, get it back to the trusty left foot of Noah Braun. West Perth seem pretty settled at the moment in their back half. This will be a test of that though, as they try and split them. Going up was the Claremont key forward. Quick kick comes out. Hack ball more than anything. Tigers can assess their options. Back inside the 50, playing from behind was Farmer. And a great mark taken. Come wide now to McGuan. 5 futures games to his name up until now. Left foot ball, not great, and comes accidentally off the boot there of Ivan Kovic. Gallagher, co-captain, called to play on. Just has to go long down the line and hope for one of his key forwards. Getting up there, making a very good contest of it, was Christensen, who looks like marking could be one of his greatest strengths. Didn't mark it there, but certainly had a good look at it. Trying to come through, Claremont they do. Well to keep it in. How does this sit? Got a fair chunk on it. But the cavalry arrived to punch it through, and once more, all squared up. 4-6 apiece. EGT WAFL Colts. Great to have your company here on YouTube. We're set for a thriller, if it hasn't been already so tonight, in this last 6 minutes and a quarter to play from there. West Perth showing that they're up to it against a formidable outfit in Claremont. Going back with the flight though to try and get the lead. Gallagher leading from the front. Buick goes short. McGuan. Creek. And he likewise goes short as well. Over the head of Alone. Claremont trying to mob up, playing for the free kick. Alone again goes in the contest. Didn't have any prior, umpire recognising that. Hit out one with a double tap from Darling. Irving. Recognising there's a free player. Doing the same. And this would be a captain's goal if they ever needed it. Running through Gallagher. Can he finish off his work? You betcha he can. The co-captain in Sam Gallagher gets it out to a Claremont lead once more. Taking the game on and slotting to the right-hand side of the screen. And they don't need a lot, this Claremont outfit, to make you pay. They do so through Sam Gallagher. 4-6-30 West Perth trailing Claremont 5-6-36. One of 7 premiership players out there tonight. Sam Gallagher. Experience shining through. Can they hold on to this lead or even extend it going into the last change? Creek wants to try and level the playing field. Going back with the flight courageously, picking it up off a standing step. Went the player in French, and that'll be either out of bounds on the full or behind. The umpire's just going to have a quick chat here. Of course, every decision matters in terms of points or out of bounds on the full calls, and it's going to be the latter, so no score there off the boot for French. Pumping it long, the Tigers getting up. A couple of players on that far side. French undersized against Darling. Having no time whatsoever was Edwards. The ball spills free. Trying to tap it to advantage against. Eventually got the boot to ball was Newry. Quick footy assisting the Tigers. Going back. Farmer sits underneath it. He's on a one-on-one with Boxart, West Perth co-captain, and boundary line beats both of them. They can get another one before three-quarter time. Claremont would mean a lot. 2 goals isn't a lot, but in a game like this, it probably means a bit more with how it's been played and how tight it's been. Both teams scoring 5 goals or less. Grabbing it out, Van Rooyen on the non-preferred, just travelling the 15 metres, and the mark taken by Barraclough, who goes across the face of goal. Boxart will get it back. Down the line, wants Lacroix, who positions his opponent well. Went to play on. Shows that they're wanting to score another. And on a lead is Wayne. He's going to have to wait because there's not a lot going up the ground. Going back with the flight was Brown. Second to the ball is Andrich. And a nice pressure to make sure it's locked in. Wayne pushed underneath it. Buick trying to draw the free kick and did so successfully. Player saying he lifted the elbow, but free kick is a free kick regardless. And Hunter Buick, who it's almost set up, made for the moment, Hunter Buick. And from a game perspective, this would just about sum up the first 3 quarters. If he can get it here and make sure that we're going into the 4th quarter all squared up, which we are. What a goal from the co-captain in Hunter Buick. And we're back to a draw, although the umpires are going to have a chat here to see what happened. And the players didn't look super confident. And they're going to set up now as if it was a behind. So maybe that tells you the tale. But no, it's going to be a goal. Hunter Buick makes it look easy, and that's going to be the last kick of the 3rd quarter. So we're going to go into 3-quarter time with nothing separating the teams after Claremont led by a point at the 1st and 2nd breaks. Hunter Buick drawing the free kick, going back and finishing his work, which he made it look a lot easier than what it was from a pretty far distance out when you consider it was a snap. He's going to get his team fired up for this last quarter. The Tigers will do the same, and we're set for a nail-biter in this final 25 minutes coming up at HIF Health Insurance Oval. It's the final game of the EGT WAFL Colts round 1, and we'll see who comes out with the Chockies right after this. Nothing separating them. Back shortly on YouTube.
See, I finally opened up.
Hey mates, ready to power up your career with EGT? As a proud sponsor of the WAFL, we're all about teamwork and training winners. With EGT, our apprenticeships in electrical trades are hands-on, so you can start working and earning faster, so you can forget the debt and dive straight into earning. Join us today and get the best of both worlds. Great training with the thrill of the game. Don't just dream about success, wire it up with EGT. Visit egt.net.au and kickstart your career.
They could have made it round.
Let's have a ball.
Instead, they made a swinging pendulum of luck.
Let's have a day. We'll do the rock. We'll do the ball. Let's have a ball. Don't tell if you do.
When the bounce serves you a clanger,
Lucky you're with Amy.
Welcome back to HIF Health Insurance Oval. What a last quarter we have coming up. Nothing separating West Perth 5-6-36, who are hosting Claremont 5-6-36 at the final change. And don't underestimate what the 4 points could do for either season here, going 1-0 up. Although a long season ahead, who will break the deadlock and come through for the first win of 2026, the EGT WAFL Colts season. Set for a fantastic 25 minutes left in this one. Under lights here on a day which has been dominated by Claremont in the reserves and the league. West Perth looking to finish off, giving the club something to cheer about in round one. Last quarter coming up. It's all to play for here at Joondalup. Van Rooyen gets the hit out. Gale, who's the leading possession on the ground, 23 touches to his name, gets one here as well. Went to go by hand, got the kick on the end of it. Flying underneath it was Farmer. Nuri's there as well. Trying to break through for the first, the Tigers. Ferocious tackle applied by Barraco. Of course, the clock will keep running as well, so yeah, watch this space for whoever can kick the remaining goals in this one. Quick kick comes out, attacking it, Collins, but breaking through, Nuri! An ideal start for Claremont, he kicks his second. Damien Nuri, something out of nothing in the end. And inside the first minute, Claremont strike. He joins Charlie Anning as the only multiple goal kicker for Claremont. Hit out one by Claremont. West Perth's time to respond now. Craig applies the tackle. Van Rooyen kicks the ball, bouncing on all ends. Comes out the way of Collins on debut. Van Rooyen got better as this game has gone along. Both rucks miss it this time. Comes down, quick kick off the boot of Blacksall. Trying to pick it up. Banfield was potentially slung. Dangerous tackle. The call. Harper Banfield. He's called to play on. Lost his footing. Getting a crucial hand on it was Buick. West Perth coming short. Dropping the mark though. Doesn't have a whole heap to go to. Just had to hand pass long. Did so effectively. Again, another one along the ground. Van Rooyen. Gale. Hand pass comes out. Blacksall again. He can lower his eyes or go longer, and he does the latter. Perfect crumb there. Farmer's dangerous in a position like this. And is that called a high free kick? It's not. It's called holding the ball. So Buick at that end on the brink of three-quarter time did get a high free kick. That a similar but not paid by the umpire. Helicopter of a ball through the hands of Van Rooyen. Coming through Brown. Buick just has to settle for the ball up. Quick kick comes around from Banfield again through the hands of Collins. Another goal would not help West Perth's case at all. Quick kick from Brooks. Bounces, all ends up. The quick snap around the body. This would be a tremendous finish. Does it sneak the right side of the goalpost? It doesn't. It fades late. Farmer was already ready to go off and celebrate, but a handy point nonetheless. Right, the Claremont number 1. Who has ties to the West Coast Eagles as well, being an NGA player. Banfield goes off the instep. It's not going to favour anyone, but just doing the safe approach to punch it out rather than going for the mark was Barraclough. Boundary throw in. Tap comes out. Buick eventually picks up cleanly. Umpire deeming it as a throw. How costly will that be? Must have been very quick because it looks like a handball from here, but it's deemed a incorrect disposal. And it will be Benji Van Rooyen to go back and have a shot at goal. Had the 15 hit-outs tonight. This will be disposal number 20 for Benji Van Rooyen. Can the big man hit the scoreboard? It's going to hold its line. And that is a vital goal to Benji Van Rooyen, the AFL Academy member. Make sure of it. And a long way still to go, the best part of 19 minutes, but that's just going to give him a bit more breathing room. Well, 13 points to be exact. Hit out one there by Darling. Claremont not done yet. Mark dropped, but can they put what could be close to an exclamation mark on this? Nuri's going to fly. Staying down was alone, and another dangerous position in a boundary throwing scenario for the Tigers. Coming through, trying to replicate that goal, but through the field of play was Van Rooyen. It was smothered off the boot. Creek get the handball out. Buick's going to have to play above his height. The quick snap comes out. The Tigers' dangerous position. They couldn't quite stick the mark. West Perth under siege at the moment in their back half. Claremont doing everything they can. It's just held up once more. Van Rooyen doesn't have a heap to go to. Not sure how that was dispossessed, and that time a call of incorrect disposal going against the way of the Tigers. They elect to go short. Down the line, the Kra is the tall timber down there, but even taller coming across is Isaac Darling. And that might be 50 as well. LaCroix, it seems, just infringing. He can't believe it, and it could be 2 rucks who get this extend this lead out. First through Van Rooyen, and if Darling can convert here, he'd make it 2 from 2 from the big man. Similar position, a bit close to goal on debut. Watch the teammates get around him here, but he's electing to go for the short one. He might want that time over again because it didn't quite hit the target. Nonetheless, Gale comes through outside of the boot, and surprised to see Darling pass that one off because he looked like he was going through his set shot routine. Keeps West Perth in it. Elect to play on. Mark taken, diving. Going now furthermore inside. Intended target, Harvey Sporting Guy, who Tigers have done well to maintain tonight. He's had a shift of in the ruck, up forward, up the ground as well. Just the one goal, but obviously has very high standards that he sets, so can't be too harsh. Especially in round one. Neither rucks make an impact in terms of tapping that. Sheldrick, who's looked very at home on debut. Mark taken at full stretch. Barraclough. Likewise, Creek. Going short, but turning the ball over, reading it superbly, and they can take a run and a carry through Gale. Has to go on the non-preferred. Just might have thought 1-2 steps many ahead there. Boxart clears for now. They're sitting underneath it. Glidden. Next 3 or 4 minutes. Very, very important for the Falcons. They can draw it back to under 10 points. Short ball works out okay. Buick trying to lead from the front, despite being younger than a lot of his top age teammates, and sliding in there. That was a successful one. The hand pass off. Sporting Guy has to go the don't argue. Back to the teammate that gave it to him. Off a standing step. Is that downfield? Or is it coming back? It's a free kick one way or the other. And it might come back to where the kick was initially taken from, which is still a good result, although in fact it's not. So Lacroix will bang this home. He does so quickly to make sure that no more time is wasted, and he's on the end of that. Kobe Lacroix has his first of the season. One AFL Academy member in Van Rooyen kicks a goal, and another in Kobe Lacroix kicks his season opener, and it's a 7-point margin here in Joondalup. Just keep the door open to West Perth. Handball over the top, Van Rooyen. Lacroix's gone into the middle. Sheldrick had to spin and evade. Then size up one of his teammates, which he did to a tee. That's a play you don't expect from a first gamer, and Sheldrick. Couple of the live wire small forwards trying to combine. Farmer couldn't quite mark that as Newry did before him. In and under. Hand pass and hope more than anything. Quick kick comes out. And for all that work West Perth did, Claremont almost just shattered it once more. But they do extend it ever so slightly. 8 points. 11 minutes to play here. Appreciate your company on YouTube throughout the evening. EGT WAFL Colts in round one. Looking definitely like the closest game we've seen so far out of the 4. And that would be an understatement. Next closest an 18-point victory that East Perth had over Subiaco on Good Friday at Sullivan Logistics Stadium. But this at the 7 points looks going to be closer than that, unless Claremont can extend the remaining 11 to come. Van Rooyen taps it to himself. Sheldrick got his opponent in the full 360. Push and shove off the ball. Laxell in there, making his presence known. Van Rooyen off a standing step. You can hear the crowd cheer. Plenty of Claremont faithful in the house, despite being a West Perth home game. The kick to a genuine one-on-one out the back. Darling and Barraclough, both players go to ground. Darling can't quite get it out of there, but he had no prior, said the ump. One more goal for Claremont. I know I've said it, and West Perth have then closed it out even when they've done that, but 10 minutes will continue to tick. We'll have another stoppage. Wayne doing the ruck duties through the hands of LeCras. Watch out for the smalls to get to work here for the Tigers. Farmer, one of those, and he's got a reward for his efforts in that tackle. Holding the ball, call going the way of Robbie Farmer, who hasn't stopped trying all night. It's been a tough night for all forwards. But Robert Farmer, again, one of those players who contributed in the pre-season in Claremont's 3 wins. He'll go back and make it a very, very hard ball game for Claremont to lose if he can slot it here. Robert Farmer, part of the state summer squad for 2026, trying to press his claim for the winter squad in that department as well. He converts, and Claremont just edged closer to a round 1 victory. Four goals notably in the win over Peel Thunder in round 3, which was the last pre-season game he played, but goals in the 2 games against East Perth and Subiaco before that. Kicks goal number 10 of his WAFL Colts career in game number 8 does Robert Farmer. 14 points it's gone out to West Perth. They've done really well at responding every time. Claremont have charged ahead though, and wouldn't be surprised if they can do so again. Van Rooyen out of mid-air. Taking the advantage, recognising the game has to have some risks if you're a West Perth player. Buick to himself, kicked a miraculous goal on the brink of 3/4 time from a snap, and West Perth do what I just said and remain in the hunt. A snap across the body coming for the Falcons. And it looks like it's Zarin Dwyer on debut. So 8 points at the moment. It's really been a game back and forth to this point. Claremont not safe just yet. Ten futures games for Zarin Dwyer. Comes in for Colts' first game and kicks his first goal after 3 futures goals. This stoppage is crucial. It's going to go the way of the Tigers though. through Sheldrick, who has gone over that 20 possession mark on debut. Going back with the flight nicely though, West Perth. Even though 6 minutes is still not a heap of time and they're down by more than a goal, they don't have to rush too much, if that makes sense. It's not like they have to go at absolutely all costs, but Claremont still trying to break their way through Newry, who took a lot of the passage of play on. Then applied the bump and unnecessary down the field from him. Just a bit agitated there. Is that a 50-metre penalty as well? Bit clumsy from Brown, who didn't give it back. Gale saying brain fade from you there. And West Perth through Zusetti. Another debutant, so it's the youngsters really giving a lot of life into this red and blue outfit tonight. Can it be a couple of successive goals for them from first gamers? We wait and see how the left footer approaches this one to the left-hand side, and could that be a costly blow? Is it still just beyond that 1 goal margin, 7 points to be exact? Still a bit too early for Claremont to milk the clock. They bring it to that far side. And they've got players out trying to take the bounce, although there's a whistle that's going to come back to West Perth. And another 50 as well. So Claremont just not doing the basics in terms of giving the ball back correctly, and West Perth can go forward and really try and capitalise. 7 points, the margin. They send it inside 50. Bit of a wasted ball, but it'll still be locked into their front 50-metre arc. The likes of Gale and co trying to set up. You wonder how much scenario footy these teams have trained over the off-season. There's a high free kick coming back the way of Van Rooyen. Ignores those options across the face. No unnecessary risks need to be taken. Just the chipping ball short is the option taken. And a 50-metre penalty this time. So on both sides of the ledger, been a couple for infringements going the way of West Perth. Been a couple not giving the ball back going against the way of Claremont. They can just chew off a few extra seconds with just over 3 minutes remaining. Gale. He'll go relatively short as well. And pass ignored. Big fist coming from behind. Well done there by Brown. They've challenged all night, West Perth, and that should be a deliberate call out of bounds. It's not, in fact. Interesting there. Seemed very deliberate by Darling, but umpire says benefit of the doubt, of course. Not imposed as a last touch there from the ruck contest. Creek battled hard all night, kicked a couple of beauties through the hands. Coming the way of Edwards, leading the way from the front. Couple of Falcons pile on. Under 2 minutes now. They need a goal at all costs, West Perth. Going to have to kick a quick one and then another one from a centre circle. It does seem unlikely. Stranger things have happened though in WAFL Colts footy. EGT WAFL Colts round 1. Creek off a standing step just thumps it as long as he possibly can. Claremont are well set up through Brown though. He picks it up cleanly. Copped a bit of pressure and eventually got the handball through. The long ball coming back the way of Creek. 25th possession coming up for him. Just over the head there of the first gamer, Braun and Irving drawing the opponent. Handball over the top. Can they touch it in the field of play? They do, just through the first goal kicker of the night, or rather it's Huxtable in the number 21, just getting him in number 14 mixed up there in Florida, who did kick the first goal way back in the first quarter. Under a minute to play. West Perth have battled very hard all night. They do get a quick clearance. You'd think they need a marker on this play and a quick set shot. Coming from behind, Sport and Guy to spoil. Brown holds his ground. Cool customer out of the back half. Mark taken by Collins. Collins goes quick. This ball up and under. Can Bradbury take a mark? He can't. And Floretto, quite fittingly, takes the mark. Pretty much in the exact same position that he kicked that goal at this end of the ground. He'll go short, and Claremont are going to hold on here for a gritty round 1 win. Braun takes the mark. They were challenged, but if there's anything about Claremont that we're not unfamiliar with, is that they know how to win, as they've done in the last 3 premierships, and they're going to get off to a 1-0 start. Credit to West Perth for keeping with them for the best part of the game, but it's Claremont who come through for a 7-point victory here at HIF Health Insurance Oval. The players celebrate as they deserve to do so. 7-7-49 full-time West Perth, defeated by Claremont 8-8-56. Low-scoring game of Colts footy, but a great way to finish round 1 of the EGT WAFL Colts. Just going through a few of the standout players, there was a lot for both sides. Goal kickers, Campbell Creek kicked 2 goals, had 25 disposals as well. Hunter Buick kicked a nice goal to level up on 3/4 time. Dwyer Glidden on debut. Kobe Lacroix kicked a goal, as did his under-18 state summer squad teammate in Harvey Sport and Guy. Charlie Anning with 2. Damien Newry also with 2. Robbie Farmer with a late goal for Claremont. Josh Floretto, the opener. Sam Gallagher, the captain, and Benji Van Rooyen in that last quarter, while other disposal getters, George Gale led the way to be the only player with 30 or more disposals on the ground, 31 to be exact, while Maxim Collins was the best on the disposal count, West Perth having 28. Next week for the sides, Claremont coming up against Peel Thunder, who will be no doubt looking to bounce back after a loss on Thursday night against East Fremantle, while for West Perth, they have the bye. So they'll reset and come back in round 3, where they'll play Swan Districts at Steel Blue Oval on the 18th of April. Good to see the players shaking hands out there, and a strong crowd remaining for the Colts game after the league and reserves earlier in the day from HIF Health Insurance Oval. Been a pleasure to have your company here on YouTube, which is where all EGT WAFL Colts and ATCO WAFL W games will be housed in season 2026. As we say goodnight, it's Claremont who fittingly get home in there as they start their premiership defence, their triple premiership defence in style, with a 7-point win here from HIF Health Insurance Oval. Enjoy the rest of your Easter, and we'll see you for round 2 of WAFL Colts action next week. Good night.